Morning, everybody, and welcome to our class tonight that Lauren and I are doing together. And I know you don't all know me, so I'll just very briefly introduce myself before passing you over to Lauren. So, as you can see on the screen, my name's Sarah Barber. I live in Brighton, and what do I do for work? So I've been a nutritional therapist for about 10 years. Around having children, so not full-time. I've got two boys, they're 10 and 5 now, and I've always loved essential oils, had them around, a long time, but it wasn't until about 4 years ago that I discovered the dōTERRA brand that we're going to be talking to you about this evening. And I was just blown away by the purity and also what I learnt that you could actually do with a pure essential oil, and how it's very, very different to how we've always historically understood essential oils to be, which were more like kind of nice smells that we could fragrance our room with, but not necessarily anything you could use for anything else. But with a pure essential oil, it completely changes the rules. And what we now find we can do is we can actually use these as tools for our health and our emotional well-being. And that's really what I'm very passionate about, empowering others to use natural solutions in their lives as a kind of a first port of call where appropriate. So that's what we're going to be talking to you about tonight. So I will pass you over now to Lauren to introduce herself before we get started.
Yeah, well, I think everyone on this call knows me, but for some of you that don't, and if we haven't met in person, welcome. I am a beauty and holistic therapist, so lots of beauty treatments, and I also specialize in Reiki, so I'm a Reiki practitioner as well as a crystal healer, and I'm awaiting my aromatherapy diploma certificate. So I submitted my final assessment, so I just need to wait to see if I've passed. I hope I have. Okay. But that was thank you, and that was kind of how I found dōTERRA. So it's a lot more recent than Sarah. I have used essential oils in the past, thought they smelt nice, and just thought, oh, there's something that you diffuse in a room and that's all you really do with it. I didn't really have that full understanding, and it's only sort of as I started to learn more and more about aromatherapy and oils and how you need the purest oils possible, that's when I stumbled across dōTERRA and found Sarah, who has taught me so much. Yeah, and for me it was about having the best possible oils to hand and in my toolbox as such, to get the best possible healing for my clients, and obviously for myself. I use them for everything. So that sort of follows on to the problems these days. So you'll probably find that a lot of people that find it a lot easier to take medication than actually deal with the root cause of why they're not feeling well, and they almost get into a bit of a habit, so they're almost hooked on those medications. It's also a thing of people are desperate to get better, so whatever the doctor prescribes or the specialist prescribes, they'll take. They don't understand what they're taking, they just know, oh, this is what I need to take 3 times a day. And we're living in an unhealthy world, so that's not just sort of things like obesity and things like that, that's also living with a lot of stress. So our anxiety levels, our fight and flight mode is on fire a lot more than it should be, and it's just an unhealthy lifestyle that we live at the moment. But this is sort of the reason why Sarah and I have put this together, because it's these tiny little steps and changes that we can make that can have such a huge impact on this lifestyle and sort of life expectancy, illnesses, the medications that you take, things like that. So yeah, so like I said, we've put this together because we have the full intention to educate you on essential oils. So as most of you know, it's a massive passion of mine, and working with natural alternatives is a passion, and I just want other people to be able to do the same. I know a lot of people that are quite poorly and that do take medication, so I just feel that if I can help as many people as possible how to safely use essential oils, but also learn that they're not just things that smell nice, there's hundreds of other ways that they can be used. I just want to pass that on and let people make those decisions for themselves.
Lovely. So I'm going to do a little bit now before passing back to Lauren. So this is something we call our kind of wellness chart, and really what it's looking at is the things below the dotted line are things that are lifestyle factors that we have control over, and we make decisions about these areas every day. And we just invite you, if you've got a pen, lovely. If you haven't, maybe just think about which of the 4 areas below the dotted line, which 1 or 2 do you think perhaps you would score the lowest on, in terms of, you know, how well do you manage to eat right? How well do you manage to get fresh air, move your body? Stress management, sleep also falls within that category. And then how well do you avoid toxins in your life? So the main areas that this becomes sort of relevant or applicable is when, like, personal care products and the products that you clean your home with, as well as things like, you know, your food and what is it wrapped in and how are you cooking it. So if you could either write down, you know, scores for each one of those, or just in your mind think about which 1 or 2 areas are the areas where there's the most room for improvement, and we'll come back to this a bit later on. So just give you a minute in case you haven't done that. Have a swig of the tea.
The all-important tea.
Okay. So tonight's class is called Natural Solutions for Health and Wellness, and we call it this partly actually just because dōTERRA, although they are the world's kind of most trusted and most tested brand of essential oil, we'll cover that a little bit more later, they also are a wellness company, and it's not only essential oils that they do, and they are very passionate about providing healthcare solutions for people. And like I said earlier, empowering mums, empowering individuals to not go to the pharmacy, not go to the doctors as the first port of call. As you can see there, we spend trillions of pounds a year on healthcare, and actually we're not healthier, we're getting sicker. I think our children's generation is the first generation where it's suspected that they might have a shorter life expectancy than us. So the modern approach is to manage symptoms, wait till we get sick, and then when we get sick, we go to the doctors, or we go and have an operation and we get fixed. But the medication that we might be given, that might make us feel better in the short term, or it might take away the symptoms that we're experiencing. So we think it's made us better. Actually, it hasn't. It's kind of like you can see in that first triangle there, it's just taken away our symptoms, but the reason that we're expressing those symptoms in the first place is probably still there, and over time, once we stop taking the medication, the issues are going to come back. But what dōTERRA is interested in is flipping that round and addressing the root cause through natural plant-based products. So when we use an essential oil to, over time, rebalance a body system or an organ, for example, then once that body system or organ is rebalanced, we don't have any symptoms to express because the root cause has been addressed. And not to say that, you know, in every single situation, essential oils are going to fix everything, but they can certainly do a lot, and it's certainly worth exploring it as something, you know, in the first instance. And where it says safe benefits, I always like to describe essential oils as having side benefits, because in the way that medication has side effects, when we use, say, the orange oil that's there, we might be inhaling that for low mood. It's actually naturally antibacterial. It's naturally going to support any stressful feelings at the same time. So we might be using an essential oil for one thing, but we're always getting many other benefits in other areas at the same time. I think we're back to Lauren.
Was that me? You want me to respond?
Oh, I was going to do this, wasn't I? And then you were going to
You were.
Yeah. Getting confused by 3 things. So yeah, you got me for a little bit longer. Sorry about that. So the 3 things, if there were 3 things that we'd just like you to remember, just to kind of keep it simple, 2 of them are on this sheet, and then the other one is on the following slide. So they're natural, they're effective, and they are safe. So they are completely natural. So dōTERRA essential oils, there is nothing else in the oil in the bottle except plant oil. And they are extremely powerful, extremely potent. But, you know, as long as you're following a guidebook or a reference book or app, you know, you can be completely safe. Just to give you an example, the 1 drop of peppermint oil. So if I was to take my bottle of peppermint essential oil and I would put 1 drop in this mug and I would fill it up with hot water, then I would have a cup of peppermint oil tea, which is delicious. I did this yesterday. And peppermint oil and essential oils are much stronger than the herb from where they came or the plant from where they came. In the example of peppermint, as you can see there, if I wanted to get the same benefits from herbal peppermint tea, I would have to have around 28 cups to get the same benefits as my 1 cup of peppermint oil tea. And as it also says there, you know, they are affordable, they're pennies per dose. And I always like to sort of ask people, you know, well, what else would you use? What else would you be doing if you weren't using, say, a drop of peppermint essential oil, which is 7p, for digestive issues? You know, how much would that Rennie be, or how much would that Gaviscon be? And also, what's the cost of using that Rennie or that Gaviscon? You know, the other, you know, you're getting chemicals and you're not actually fixing the problem. And then taking that further, you know, how much does it cost to be off work and to be sick? So actually, when you flip it on its head, the oils are really affordable and they're a really good investment. So the second thing is that they're effective. So we've talked about how they address the root cause already. One of the things that really attracted me to getting the essential oils 4 years ago was this little image of the cell below, and this is quite relevant right now. The purple thing inside the cell is a virus. So, and the green thing on the outside of the cell is a bacteria. And this is how it works in our bodies. So bacteria tend to hang around on the outside of cells, and viruses, they pretty much hide. They're quite clever and cunning. They hide on the inside of our cells. And nearly all medication, you can see this cell membrane around the cell. So anything that's going to get inside the cell, so we're kind of talking here about things that we can take or use to attack what's inside the cell and get rid of it, needs to pass through the cell membrane, okay? And the cell membrane is made of an oily substance. Nearly all medication is water-based, and water and oil, as we all know, they don't mix. So basically, medication can't get to viruses. And that's why, you know, we all know if we go to the doctor and we're feeling unwell with a virus, they don't give us anything. You know, years ago, they would give us antibiotics, but they don't work because of what I'm explaining right now. They can't penetrate the cell walls. So these days we're sent home and we're told to rest because there's actually very little that can help. What's so exciting about essential oils, because they are oil-based, they're lipid-based, is that many have the ability to pass through the cell wall, and then, you know, we can complete the story ourselves of what they can potentially, you know, do to the viruses inside. So this is massive. You know, as a nutritionist, I mentioned I was a nutritionist at the beginning. Now, I can't do this with anything nutritional either. You know, there's no herb or or a nutritional supplement that I can give somebody that's going to easily pass into a cell wall. So now I have my essential oils, I can tell them to put oregano on their feet, which we'll explain more about that in a bit. And I know that it has the ability to pass, eventually through the cell wall and attack the viruses, which is super cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third thing is the quality. So they are safe, they are 100% pure. And when dōTERRA came into the marketplace 12 years ago, so some of you might not have heard of dōTERRA before Lauren introduced you. I hadn't either, and I was already in the health and wellness space and liked essential oils, but they are the largest essential oil company in the world now. And when they first came in, they were very aware that there were no regulations around essential oils. So aromatherapists are regulated as a body, but there's nobody governing what somebody can put in this bottle of essential oil. It could be sunflower oil, and it could be sold on a shop shelf, and it could be marked 100% pure or 100% organic. There's nobody in the world that's going to tell anybody not to do that. So what dōTERRA decided to do to try and raise the standard is to create their own CPTG, as they called it, certified pure therapeutic grade standard. That is, they basically do more testing than anybody else that I know, and then they independently have it validated by an external laboratory that's not kind of affiliated to them. So it's really important to understand that there's nobody else doing what dōTERRA do to the standards and the lengths that they go to. So the certified pure part of the CPTG that I just talked about is the testing that the oils are 100% pure. And then the therapeutic grade part is this. So to have an oil that works, and to have an oil where every batch, time and time again, is as consistent as the last batch, and to have an oil where the chemistry is as pure and complete as it could be. The plants need to be sourced in places in the world where all conditions are optimal, and that's what dōTERRA do. Even though it's a bit more expensive, they are so passionate about pure oils and understand that this is how it has to be, because otherwise there's going to be constituents missing in oils. So and then they won't do all the things that, say, a lavender oil is supposed to do. If it's not grown somewhere where the conditions are optimal, it will only do some of the things because some of the chemistry will be missing. And then co-impact sourcing. This is really just, more and more people these days are interested and wanting to feel good about their purchases and know where things are coming from. And the model that dōTERRA has set up is giving back all through the production chain. And co-impact sourcing, it's kind of like fair trade, but better. They set up kind of relationships and form cooperatives of farmers, and they don't own farms intentionally. They prefer to empower farmers and communities, and they work alongside them, so that on both sides of the bottle everybody benefits. All these communities, 2/3 of the countries where the plants are grown are developing countries, so they get more than they would probably hope to get in any other industry, and we the consumer get the very best quality oils that have been grown by artisans and people that are loving and grateful for the work that dōTERRA give them.
Awesome, thank you, Sarah. Thank you for covering that bit. So I was going to talk to you now about the different ways that we can use oils. So like I said, when I first started buying essential oils and using them, I solely just used them in one of those little sort of heat burners and thought, oh, that smells nice, that'll make the room smell nice, that might do some good. Didn't really understand it. But like I said, there's loads of different ways, but the main 3 ways of using the essential oils, the first one is aromatic. So this is a great one for emotional well-being. So like I said, those feelings of stress, anxiety, if you need a bit of an energy boost in the morning, you're feeling a bit, oh God, it's Monday. Aromatic is an amazing way of upping the emotions, and it will open our airways, and it's also really good for the air. So you know, when you walk into a room, it's bright, it's airy, and you get that feeling of, oh, this is so lovely. That's because it's had that emotional lift on you. A lot of you have had samples of the oils, and I know that each and every one of you have told to put a drop in your hand and rub your palms together and inhale. That is the aromatic approach. So it's the inhaling the oils. We use peppermint as an example in this. So peppermint is quite a strong oil when you inhale, but it's so good if you need a zing. So if you're having that 3 o'clock slump at work, it's amazing. 1 drop of peppermint, 5 to 10 deep breaths, you'll soon be rocking and rolling. It's also amazing. I know I've sent a couple of you peppermint because you said about headaches. So that putting it on your temples and across your forehead and also sort of back of the neck can really help with that head tension. We've also got topical use. So moving across to the middle. So this is when we place an oil on our body. So this can be, a lot of the oils in doTERRA, because they are so pure, can be put on neat. But some of them do need to be diluted, but we'll go into that a little bit later. But one of the ones that we use an example, deep blue. So I know some of you have had deep blue as a sample, so I would have diluted that down for you. But with deep blue, that's amazing for any aches and pains. So some of you got arthritis, so those sort of aches and pains. Some of you are sports people, really good for that as well, sort of muscles, joints, anything like that at all. And a really good place for topical use is actually at the bottom of the feet. And it's actually sort of said that if you put an oil on the bottom of your feet, it's actually the quickest way the body absorbs it. So when the body absorbs an essential oil, it doesn't matter where your aches and pains are, because they get into your bloodstream, they will go to wherever the body needs them. So you might have put it on the bottom of your feet and you've got a headache and it might not quite make sense, but because it's in the bloodstream, it's going to go all around your body, and whatever body parts you need it to help, it will do. The final one is internal. So this is when we actually sort of ingest the oil. So this is where doTERRA are next to none. Every essential oil that I have ever bought says do not ingest. When Sarah taught me about taking essential oils internally, I was like, are you crazy? And it's only when I learned more and how we do that, I would never ever look back. So you can put a drop in water, you can drop it in some warm water, in a tea. For me, I'm a bit of a nightmare. I love my hot chocolate. I put a few drops of wild orange in my hot chocolate, so it tastes like a Terry's chocolate orange. It's incredible. But one for the moment is On Guard. With On Guard, this is a blend, lots of lovely oils in it. And this is to support your body's immune system. So you can put a drop under your tongue. You can put it in your tea, in with some hot water and lemon. There's loads of different ways of doing it. Or you can use what we call a veggie cap. Just put a few drops of oil in and you can take it that way. Just to explain a little bit more about the aromatic use. Like I said, I used to use one of the little burners. You know, you put the candle underneath. Not always the best way to do it with essential oils, because you actually burn off the oil, that which means that you don't get the full effect. What doTERRA have specialised in is the diffusers. So you'll see a picture of a few of them there, and you'll see the little sort of the numbers and the drops. That is how many drops of oil you need diffuse in a certain size room. So as you can see, it goes from 3 to 4 to 12 to 15. So depending on how big your room is. Just an example, my house, I've got the middle one, and that will fill up the stairs in my living room and my kitchen. So it's incredible. And when we talk about aromatic use, this is all to do with our limbic system. I won't go all science on you, but this is where certain smells affect our emotional response. So in this, this lovely lady smelling a rose, and you can see the channel in which those little particles are traveling, and this will kickstart the limbic system in the brain. And this is where I said sort of it connects to our emotions. So this is where we can get a lot of stress relief. So if you know oil has a really lovely meaning to you, really lovely memories, this is what kickstarts it, and this is what helps us relax and can really uplift us. So when we're talking about all these uses, we need to make sure that we keep super safe. However, there aren't really any ways you can go super wrong with essential oils, because they're pure. They're not medicines. It's not like you're going to be rushed to hospital or anything like that. You know, as long as you follow the oil safety, it's absolutely safe. You can use essential oils on children. I use them on my children, the elderly, sort of those kind of groups that you normally have to be super careful with, or they advise you not to use them on. doTERRA oils can be. We have to be careful. So like I sent a lot of you with the safety advice, keep them out of eyes, ears and nose. Don't go sticking it in any of those. But if you do get it in your eyes, because I know I've done it myself, you do the drop in your hands, you rub it in, you think lovely jubbly, I feel better now, and you go and rub, you make the fatal mistake getting it on your fingers, get it in your eyes. We have to use oil to dilute the oils, because like Sarah said, water and oil don't mix. So if you put water in your eye and you've got essential oil in your eye, you're just going to flush it round a bit more, which could make it sting a little bit more. And that's just due to skin sensitivity. That's not because it's burning your eyeballs or anything. So just pop a bit of like fractionated coconut oil, some vegetable oil, anything like that, and it will go within seconds. So I know I had to do it, and within probably 3 or 4 seconds it was done. Most of you know I'm super clumsy, so it's probably not surprising to many of you. We have to be a bit careful about skin sensitivity. So, you know, if you do have sensitive skin, just make sure that you do dilute the oils, although you can use them neat, or a lot of them. Yeah, just be super careful. Citrus oils, photosensitive, so that means if you have used citrus oils, it means don't go out in blazing hot sun. So don't go and use your, say, lemon oil, put it on your skin, and then go sit in the garden and sunbathe. You know, popping down to the shops, you'll be absolutely fine. But if you're on holiday and blazing hot sun and things like that, yeah, it's a no-no. Don't do that, and always follow the label directions. We also always in doTERRA have application methods. So you'll see at the bottom we have A, T and I. So it's aromatically, topically and internally. So that'll tell you how you can take the oils and how you can use them. And on the right hand side is the skin sensitivity. So that will tell you if it can be used neat, if you need to dilute, so sort of sensitive skin, or if you absolutely, no matter who you are, need to dilute, because there's certain oils that are incredibly strong, and we call them hot oils, and they could sort of give you really sort of a bit of a skin burn. So we always suggest to dilute them before you use them.
Lovely, thank you. And yeah, just picking up on the photosensitivity, that also includes sunbeds. So if any,
oh yes, sorry,
not that people probably are able to use sunbeds anyway right now, but if you happen to be a sunbed user, just bear that in mind as well. And the key that Lauren was just talking about, we are going to talk about some of the oils now, pleased to know. And yeah, we're going to be using this key when we talk about the oils. So aromatically, topical and internal. The ATI is how you can use them. So most of them you can use them all the ways, but a couple of them you can't. So you can just kind of look out for that. And then the skin sensitivity, that just gives you a sense of which ones are hot. Again, not many of them, but where you see a D, it means that you always need to dilute. Most of them you don't, you're fine. So coming back to you, remember at the beginning when I was asking you to think about which areas, which one or two areas you might, you could make the most difference in your health and well-being because perhaps you kind of scored the lowest. What we'd like you to do is, again, if you've got a pen or pencil, note this down. Otherwise, just think of at least two things that you would like to feel either less of or more of in your life. We've given you some examples. So things that, you know, the things that are causing you the most discomfort or, you know, would make a really big, significant change to your life, how you feel. Perhaps is this thing affecting your relationships? Is this thing affecting your work? Is this thing related to perhaps pain in the body? So yeah, you get the idea. So I'm just going to give you a second and then we'll move on. So like I said a little bit earlier, there are dōTERRA a wellness company as well as an essential oil company, and there are other products as well that can support these things. And we're mainly just talking about the oils, but the supplements there on the bottom right hand side are actually dōTERRA's most frequently bought item over and above the oils even. And I think it's because there's a couple of reasons. They're completely food-based. They're a bit of a loss leader to dōTERRA. So they're, you know, the best quality product that you'll find out there. Other companies generally don't make products at this higher value. And if they do, they're charging, you know, extortionate amounts because they have to make them such good quality. So dōTERRA are bringing them to us anyway at very low profit margin just because they are passionate about health and wellness, and they include essential oils. And I think that's why they are the most frequently bought item, because as we've learned, when something has an essential oil attached to it, it has the ability to get into the cells. So my feeling is that they're carrying the nutrients into the cells as well. And they are, you know, they are the first supplement that I've tried where I can notice a tangible difference. When I stopped taking them, interestingly, that's when I noticed the difference. So they're called the Lifelong Vitality. So I'm going to cover 3 of the oils, and then Lauren will cover a few, and then back to me. So what we're introducing you to tonight is dōTERRA's Core 10 oils. So they do over 100 oils, different blends and single oils, but their Core 10 are an amazing collection of 6 single oils and 4 proprietary blends, unique and formulated, you know, by and for dōTERRA. And why these particular oils have been selected is because they have the ability, they're all very broad in their chemistry and they all do loads of different things. So together the Core 10 actually can address around 300 different things in our homes, whether it's emotional things, physical things. You can weave these oils into green cleaning, into pet care.
Pretty much everything.
So whatever like your thing is, you can use them. You know, some people want to bring them in for kind of natural skincare and DIYs, and actually people's entry points often different, but over time what is really exciting is they're the catalyst for change, and you don't necessarily realize when you make that little leap to get started with these 10 that they're actually little bottles of magic, and over time they will infiltrate and up level all the areas of your life. But to start,
yes, they do.
Yeah. So and you will be sharing at the end how you can get the 10. They come in kind of starter kits in different sizes. They are available singularly as well, just to say that as well. So the single oils first then. So we're going to start with lemon. So lemon is it's a really easy oil. It's gentle, it's gorgeous smell, it's lovely and easy to integrate and use. I've been drinking it like no one's business actually recently. Like I think what you tend to find is you gravitate towards different oils, different days, or for a few days or for a week. And lemon recently, I've just been, every time I have a glass of water, I've been putting a drop of lemon oil in. And sometimes people ask me, what's the difference between that and can I just squeeze lemon juice into I think you might have even asked me this, I don't know, I can't remember. And the answer is lemon oil all the way, because you know the example we gave earlier about the 1 drop of peppermint oil, and cheaper. So the 1 drop of peppermint oil was that 28 cups of herbal tea. It's the same thing with the lemon. The 1 drop, you are getting a lot more benefit. You're going to get a lot more going on in your body from that 1 lemon oil than the squeeze of lemon. And it's so much cheaper. It's 4p for your 1 drop of lemon. And also there's that, I don't know how many of you know that whole thing with the acidity of the lemon juice in the mouth and the teeth enamel. So lemon juice is fine once it's in the body because it's then alkaline, but when it's in the mouth, it's acidic, and lemon oil is not. So we don't even have to worry about our teeth when we're having the lemon. And also you can have lemon like in your handbag, in the car. It's just convenient as well. And that's the case with many of the oils. You can integrate them in, if you're bakers and cookers, you can have over time, like every herb, every spice, every citrus just there, whereas you're not going to have every fresh citrus and every fresh herb just there, are you, in your kitchen? It just doesn't, it's not a practical thing. So the main things for lemon then is that it neutralizes odors, so you can be diffusing it in your kitchen, for example. It's a great stress reducer and mood enhancer. So it's actually an A&E ward in America who use lemon oil and other citrus oils. They have the same diffuser as Lauren, 24/7. They actually did a little study where they interviewed staff, and they found that lemon oil had like such a significant impact on stress and mood that the oils, the citrus oils are in there, which is lovely.
I've never looked back.
No. And then the flume, which I know won't make any sense at all, but the word flume gives you a little sense of what condition that sounds a little bit like flume that it could help with, that's also quite relevant right now. Frankincense, so flume is an acronym for frankincense, lemon, oregano, on guard, and melaleuca, which is tea tree. And you can put a drop of each in one of these veggie caps that Lauren was referring to earlier. And if you're not wanting to, for whatever reason, take them internally, or perhaps it's for a child, you can make a roller ball. So lavender is the most frequently bought oil in the whole world. It's all things calming. So I always say, for all things, so for the skin, for the body, and for the mind. And you can use it for, it's a big one for anxiety. There's studies to show it's as effective as anti-anxiety medication, which is just crazy, amazing. And it reduces the stress hormone cortisol. So, this is essential oils are science. There's a lot of science. There's over 20,000 published scientific articles around using essential oils for different health issues as well. So whether you're in the complementary camp, or you want the hard facts, or maybe you're a bit of both, they fulfill both those areas. There's a lovely book, if you like the emotions kind of aside. Every oil has an emotional sort of picture to it. And I won't read this, but if you're, you can obviously read while I'm talking. But just to summarize, the picture of lavender is it helps with people that perhaps find it difficult to find their voice, or if you need to have a challenging conversation, it aids in communication. And it just helps people kind of express their true self and their true voice. So if you love the sound of that, just know that this book gives you that for every single oil. And it's not our focus for this evening, but just wanted to sort of touch on it. And you can see there for skin, it's actually how essential oils were discovered for burns, but it's also a natural antihistamine. So as we come into spring, actually these first 3 oils, anyone with hay fever, lemon, lavender and peppermint together are kind of a anti-allergy trio and really worth trying. And then before I pass you over to Lauren again, we're going to do peppermint. So she touched on this earlier when she was talking about aromatic use and how we can inhale it to support kind of energy, and it's also good for stress, and it's supporting the respiratory system as well. And it's very cooling. So again, now we're into this warmer weather, a really nice thing to do is glass spray bottle, water and a few drops of peppermint oil, and it's really beautifully cooling. Or if you want to bring down a fever that you're perhaps has got, you know, I like to let fevers run their course because they're there for a reason. They're there to heat the body up, to burn off the invader. But equally, you know, I take that to to the point where I feel comfortable. But if you wanted to kind of just take the edge off a fever, especially for a child, for example, a drop of peppermint oil diluted in a carrier oil rubbed down the spine is really nice. Headaches, massive thing. Digestive health, you can dilute it and rub it around the tummy or a drop in a drink. And then of course I completely second Lauren and the chocolate combination. I make chocolate granola, and I have it every morning, 2 drops in my cereal. It's really, really good.
It's also really good for some of you ladies that are on, if you get a bit of a hot flush, so the peppermint in the spray bottle and yeah, just give yourself a spritz, that'll help that as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
So yeah, my turn. So Melaleuca. So this is, well, most of you probably know it as tea tree, but this is an absolute must for any first aid kit. So like myself, I've made myself a completely natural first aid kit. I use it on myself, the kids, Matt, things like that. We all use it. So it's an antiseptic. So anything sort of cuts, graze, sort of things like that you may need to clean, it's absolutely fabulous. So you can probably see there the owie spray. I use this on the kids, and it's fab because, you know, like when they fall over, they graze themselves, or, you know, if you cut yourself cooking and you need to clean it, this is great. You just grab it, spritz it, and you've got a good little cleanser there. It's also great, like it says here, if you put it in your shampoo and conditioner, it's really good for your hair health and your skin health. And this is another one that I love. For any of you there's a few of you who enjoy going to the gym and things like that. If you're using communal showers, anything like that, swimming pools, you and the kids, anything like that, you can put it on the feet and sort of on the toenails, just to prevent sort of any bacteria that might be there, or anything that may have been picked up. So really, really good for things like athlete's foot, and yeah, anything not so nice, put a bit of Melaleuca on it.
And did we say that it's tea tree?
Yes.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, and I've actually used this. My son Leon had hormonal warts. He's got them on his body, and nothing could get rid of them. I made him a little Melaleuca roller ball, and we've been putting that on his warts, and this has actually rid him of those, which is brilliant.
That is really good. How long did that take?
We've probably been doing it for about 3 or 4 months now, so not really that long.
You tried other things?
It's just, I mean, we were at the doctors all the time saying, what should we do, what can we do, and they're saying, oh, they'll just go, and
yeah,
they didn't tell us how long it would take. But as soon as we started using the tea tree,
you noticed
the difference.
Nathan?
Oh, the big gun oregano. Love this oil. So this is like I said, the absolute big gun of an oil. So this is massive immune support, so really, really relevant at the moment. fantastic for that. So things like diluting it and putting it on the bottom of your feet really, really helps as a natural defense. And it's also absolutely phenomenal in cooking. So if you think how much oregano, sort of the dried herb that you use sometimes, especially if you like your Italian cooking, things like that, I mean, one drop of this stuff is more than enough. I know that the best way to do this is to actually drop one drop onto a spoon, because more than that will probably ruin a dish. I actually take oregano and peppermint in a veggie cap, just because these oregano and peppermint are a match made in heaven. So they elevate each other's properties. So it makes them even more effective, if that's even possible, but it is magically. And again, that really helps with digestive health. So if any of you have got sort of any tummy problems, anything like that, it's really, really good for your digestive health. And again, it's part of the flume, as Sarah was talking to you about. Yeah, so again, making that rollable and helping with your immune system, things like that.
Didn't know that about oregano and peppermint.
So the next one is On Guard. So this one is actually a blend, and this is one of my favorites. And as you can see from the picture, it's got so many amazing oils in it. So this is immune support again. So this is amazing. And as soon as the whole corona thing kicked in, this was in my diffuser 24/7. So it's killing all the nasties in the air. I was putting it in my tea. So I was mixing honey and On Guard in some warm water and drinking that to help my natural defense and my immune. It's really great. You can make it a cleaner out of it. So you can mix it in with some water in a spray, and like it says here, you can clean your sides down. It's a really good idea as well. You can clean your phone and door handles, anything like that at all. And it also makes a really good mouth rinse, so it's really good for oral health as well. So clove is a great oil for sort of gums and things like that. So with all the added oils and all the other benefits, it makes it absolutely phenomenal. And again, it's part of the flume gang, as I should say.
Yeah, it's used in a few hospitals as well, like definitely a couple in America and one over here.
Air. So I know a couple of you have had air sent to you, and this, well, as the name kind of gives away, it's respiratory support. So this is really, really great. So if you've got a bit of a cold, I know it's helped one of my ladies with her hay fever. She also has, I've got another lady that's got breathing sort of respiratory problems, and it's really, really helped her. And it's really great as well for the sports people of you. If you're running, it's really good to just really help with your breathing when you're running and working out as well, keeping everything clear. But it's absolutely phenomenal as well for some of you that have said that you find it really hard to get sleep, or you're waking up and you have disturbed sleep. This is really, really great if you use it at bedtime, because this can really help with your sleeping routine as well. And again, this one can be put on the bottom of the feet. I've actually made a chest rub that I use on me and the kids. But I know for some of you, I've sent it to you and told you that put it on the bottom of your feet, or again, you can put it on your chest.
Lovely. Okay, so this is another blend. It's called Deep Blue, and it's also known as the Soothing Blend. And you can see the oils that are in it there. So there's 8 oils, so quite a few, and they all bring something different to this blend, which is looking to support tissue discomfort in our muscles, our joints, our tissues, So pain and arthritis, and also before and or after exercise, it can be really, really amazing. This oil and the cream, the rub lotion that you see there, it's the oil in a cream with the addition of eucalyptus oil. And, you know, this oil helps so many people. It works basically, and it's definitely worth a try if you have any of the kinds of things that I have mentioned. And then Zengest is doTERRA's digestive support blend. And a lot of the oils, the plants that you'll see there, you know, they'll be familiar to you as things for digestive health, and some perhaps won't be so familiar, but I think most people probably know that fennel, ginger and peppermint can support different digestive things. And with these blends, what's very cool is that they all bring slightly different things, and together they're almost more powerful than, you know, just taking one of the single oils. The other thing is our body chemistry, we're all different. So if we all had digestive issues and we were all given peppermint oil, it would work for some of us, and for others it would not do anything. So in some ways, using a blend, it's kind of like hedging your bets a bit, because you've got a higher chance that the blend's going to work for you. Whereas if you try a single oil, it could work, but you might also need to try a couple of more oils before you find the one that is sort of works perfectly for you. So Zengest, you tend to either dilute and rub in a circular motion around your tummy, or take a drop. My favorite way to take it is in like your favorite milk. I just find that it's not really spicy, but it is quite strong. And milk being oily just disperses it really nicely. You can have a drop in water or in a veggie cap as well. This was the first oil. I went on holiday shortly after getting my doTERRA oils. I went to Marrakesh, and sometimes I have like a crampy kind of stomach when I go away. And this was the first oil that gave me like a black and white experience that it was working. And I got very excited that, you know, of the potential of all the other oils, because it would work during the meal. You know, I'd literally take a drop. I was taking it in water at the restaurant, and I could feel it working during the course of the meal. So yeah, I have a little soft spot for Zengest, because for that reason, works fast, and that's not an uncommon story. And then the last oil is frankincense. So we save the king of oils till last. It's a very special. Do you agree, Lauren?
We all love frankincense.
So I actually didn't appreciate frankincense at all before my doTERRA days. Didn't particularly like the smell of it when it arrived. But I heard attending a class similar to this one, that when you use it, it enhances other oils. So it makes other oils work harder by up to about 10 times. So that was one reason that motivated me to use it, because I thought, well, if I just use it with everything, it's going to like make everything else work better. But also I found that I was very drawn to using it. So on some level, I think my body knew it was, you know, it was very beneficial. It's also a serious deal, because on the one hand, where you can use it for, you know, beauty and fine lines and wrinkles, and you know, people kind of do know it for that. It's also indicated for, you know, really serious chronic things. In the book, it's even listed for cancer. There's lots of studies for frankincense and cancer. So do go and, you know, research that, guys, if that particular topic is of interest. It's working on a cellular level. So if we like zoom in on ourselves at the most microscopic level that we can, we are made of cells, and our cells, if our cells aren't healthy, we're not healthy, basically. And what we believe frankincense is doing is it's reminding our cells how to be healthy. So if they're starting to move out of a healthy state, frankincense is like, hi guys, you know, this is how you need to be, not like that. And so it basically helps us stay healthy. And the latest research is that it's positively affecting our DNA, which is just massive and mind-blowing. So this guy is a serious deal, and it's really exciting that it's in the kit. And lavender oil and frankincense, they're both known as the Swiss Army knife of oils, meaning the chemistry is like really broad. There's so many different plant constituents, more than any other oil. So even if you don't know what to use, even if you just have a bottle of this and or lavender lying around, it's going to help because it just does so many things. So you can see I'm a bit excited about frankincense, but it's just it's just a special oil. It's got last thing I'll say about it is there's a long history of use. So even, there's even stories obviously about it in the Bible, long history with, prayer and meditation and religious practices. So if there's any people out there that, yogis, or even if you just want like a deep sleep, it basically gets you out of that chatty, busy head and back into your body. So it's really beneficial for kind of sleep and meditation as well. Yes. What do you use frankincense for?
Everything.
Do you?
Yeah, I love it. I probably shouldn't admit this, but this is probably one oil that I'm very reluctant to give out.
Yeah.
Because I love it so much. But I use it for a lot of my meditation and sort of my crystal and Reiki healings, things like that. Is phenomenal. Just the way people relax as soon as they smell it, and it's incredible.
Nice. So this just really shows you that although we've only introduced you to 10 oils this evening, you don't need to blend them at all. But if you like the idea of kind of, you fancy, doing some of your own blends and having some fun and changing up the aromatics, you can see here that there's lots of things that you can do even just with these top 10. So now just want to mention the resources. So like I said earlier, really, I know we've shared a lot of information, a lot of uses. You don't need to remember really anything that we've said. Just have a sense that, these oils are there, they're amazing. And, with a box of oils and a book or an app, you can totally be, like almost like the natural solutions person in your home.
But it's about playing around, isn't it,
Sarah? Yeah. And, the book has been written by professionals, by, people in the top of their field. And, Lauren's job is, for people that want to get started and get some into their home, to kind of teach them and show them how to use the book themselves, and then they're good to go. There's really, it's literally like if you know your A to Z, because the book is like an A to Z, list of ailments, and you've been shown how to use it, you really are good to go. So what I'm just going to do now is share a quick story about a lady who used the Deep Blue, which was the soothing blend. And I'll just read it out. So something incredible has happened. So I'd driven her home from a class, because she lives in the same part of Brighton as I do. And I've been telling her about how she should try Deep Blue for her pain, because she's waiting for an operation, quite a serious one. She's her organs were joined together at birth, and she was administering morphine at home whilst on the waiting list to have the operation. And I was like, yeah, you should try some Deep Blue. It's really good for pain, and slap some frankincense on it because it will make it work harder. And basically she got home and she couldn't find her morphine. Something incredible has happened. I came into my house grappling with horrendous pain, lay on my bed wanting morphine, but could only reach my bag and the Deep Blue oil that was by my bed. So rubbed in the cream you gave me and slapped on the blue oil and slapped on the frankincense, and more of it on the soles of my feet. Lay tingling, because it's really, the peppermint would have had quite a kind of a cooling sensation, and just couldn't move. My pain in 35 minutes is a dull ache, and I didn't take morphine, but I'm about to sleep. It's masked my pain long enough for me to realise I don't need my drugs. So that in itself is amazing. And then a bit later, she messages me again saying that she's just woken, still no pain, beside a dull ache. It's noticeably different. For a start, I'm not groggy. So this would have been from the morphine. I'm clear-minded and sitting in my conservatory, relaxed and planning supper instead of staying in bed, not moving, going in and out of consciousness and unable to do much. I've slept longer, as normally pain wakes me several times, but too drugged to get up or move. This is a breakthrough, and I'm thankful for meeting you today, for your meeting today on pain, and you taking me home with instructions on pain management. So yeah, that's really nice, and that's kind of why we do what we do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what we love.
Yeah. And this is also a lady who was very skeptical. She kind of dragged herself to the class. And And wild orange has also been an oil that's cured a lifelong insomnia for her. So
Wow.
yeah, she's an advocate now. So what we wanted to do now is just explain to you, if you like what you've heard and you think you would like to get some oils into your home and play around with, you know, seeing whether this kind of lifestyle is for you. There's 3 different ways broadly that you can get oils. And the first is what we call retail. I don't really encourage people to get your oils at retail because it's the most expensive way, and it doesn't really, there's a lot of perks with the other, with having what we call a wholesale account. So a customer wholesale account means that everything is 25% the retail price, and it costs £24, and then you would add any single oils that you want on at the wholesale price. Or you get started with a kit, which I'll show you some pictures of the different options in a minute. And the nice thing about a kit is that it includes the £24 wholesale account for free. So you still have that wholesale facility, but you haven't paid the £24 for it. So it's kind of the cheapest way. So just to say that there's 3 groups of people that are typically drawn to using the oils as well. So we've got different kind of education and tailored support for these 3 groups. The vast majority of people in dōTERRA are customers. So dōTERRA is a customer-led business. And, you know, we have really great online education programs to, you know, hold your hand all the way through your customer experience. The other 2 types of people are also people that love the oils and are using them for themselves and their family, but also like the idea of sharing them and perhaps, you know, connecting other people up with them and just earning a little bit of pocket money, really, maybe just enough to cover the cost of their own oils. And then also the 3rd group are people like Lauren and I that have chosen that they're really drawn to doing this as a business. So what we would invite you to do at some point is, you know, if you decide to get started with oils, just let us know which category you fall into, because then we can best connect you up with the different support that we have. So getting started, so as I said, it's £24 if you were just going for the wholesale membership and you wanted to add your oils on at wholesale price. So if you wanted to do that, Lauren can email you a price list of the individual oils. But what we recommend, and what we both did, is we started with a kit, and then your membership is free. And just to let you know that, you know, once you get your wholesale account, there isn't any obligation to buy again. And there's also no monthly fees. You're not tied in any way. You know, there's no obligation, but it's just the cheapest way to get started. So I'll just run through the different kits with you. This is actually a kit that I put together when COVID kind of first cropped up. So it gives you 5 core oils that are supporting really the respiratory and the immune system, but also recognizing that we need to keep our systems clean by having lemon in water. And the balance oil we haven't talked about, but it's an oil that's really good for stress. So we're kind of, this kit works on the emotions as well as the kind of the physical side. And I will cover all the bit where it says also includes. This is everything you get when you have the wholesale account, and so I'll cover those perks right at the end. But for now, you can see that these 5 oils, including the wholesale account and the perks, comes to £111. So the core 10 oils that we've spoken about this evening, they come in 2 different sized bottles. So this is the smaller size, this is 5 ml. So 5 ml, you get about 85 drops in each bottle. And this is, it's called the Family Essentials Kit. It's 122.40. You get the 10 oils plus those other 2 products, which are called beadlets, which we can explain what they are if you're wanting to know later. And then there is another kit here, which is one step up in price. You get 8 oils. We haven't talked about every one of these tonight. We talked about most of them. We haven't talked about orange, but you can see some of the uses there. Aroma Touch is also known as the massage blend. And Balance, I mentioned a minute ago, is really great for kind of stressful feelings. So this kit's quite nice if you would like to have a diffuser and perhaps the coconut oil. And it gives you these 8 oils, and this one's £151. And then the top 10 oils that we've spoken about tonight, but in the larger bottle size, is known as the Home Essential. So it's the same 10 oils, but it's in a bottle that's 3 times the size, as I'll just go back for a second, as this one, okay? So this one is 5 ml, this one is 15 ml. So what's quite nice about this kit, if your budget allows, is the bottles of oil, you're getting 3 times the amount of oil, but the cost of the kit is only twice the price. So if you're kind of value minded and if budget allows, it's a good option. The extras I'll cover on this last one. So this is another jump up again. This is kind of for the person that wants to cover and up level many different areas of their life all at once. There's mood oils, there's supplements, there's, you can get toxins out of your personal care products because they're starting you introducing the shampoo and conditioner. Over on the personal kind of, care side, you've got foaming hand wash and toothpaste and hand sanitizer, and you've got so much stuff in here. Yes, it's another high carb, but you also get quite a lot of stuff coming back. You get £85 worth of free product points, and another kind of perk which we'll explain to you, the 15% back. We can explain to that if you're interested in this kit. So the benefits and the offers that we have on dōTERRA do offers from time to time, and this month they're doing an offer on this oil. It actually used to be called the anti-aging blend. I don't think dōTERRA are allowed to call it that anymore because that would be making a health claim, but it gives you an idea about what this oil can do. The oil is, so they do these offers about 4 times a year for we'll call it a 200 PV offer. So for kits over a certain amount, so the 10 core oils in the larger size qualifies, and also the Natural Solutions kit, which was this one. So they both qualify, and you'll get this oil that does cost £87 free if you got started with those 2 larger kits this month. Tell you what's in it. You have all the precious oils. So you've got rose, highest frequency oil, you've got myrrh, you've got lavender, you've got helichrysum and frankincense and sandalwood. So all the oils, lavender's not so expensive, but all those other oils are super expensive.
Yeah, they are.
Like crazy expensive.
When I saw the ingredients, I was like, I've got to have one.
Yeah.
Incredible.
So, and also you can dilute it. So it's pure oil, and you don't need to be using this, you don't need to be rolling it all over your face pure. You absolutely don't. So what first thing I do is I get about, 3 empty rollable bottles, and I'll divvy it up and top them all up with it says there actually says there to do that. So that's what I do. So if anybody was getting started with this kit or this kit in May, you would get this very beautiful, lovely oil. So you use it, you basically weave it into your skincare, but it's also can be for any kind of skin imperfections, scarring, blemishes, and also emotional, like all the flower oils and all the
very grounding oils.
Yeah, exactly. So we thought it would be fun to give you a little opportunity to also get a second free oil, or maybe if you were going for one of the other kits where you couldn't get the Salubel because it's only those larger 2 kits are eligible. Anybody that wanted to get started by Sunday evening, we'd love to gift you a 5 ml wild orange oil. And in terms of the value in the wholesale account, and when you get started with dōTERRA, as I'm sure Lauren will testify, it's so much more than a box of oils. You don't just get a box of oils.
No, absolutely not.
Left alone. Lauren will hold your hand, and I will if you want me to, every step of the way. We have online kind of you know, oils group, community, education. We send you a little gift. You get a one-to-one session with Lauren included in, you know, your purchase.
They're all going to sign up just for that. I know they are.
They will. Of course they will. And you can see the rest of it there, but there's, you know, lots of exciting things, and you can kind of, you know, get into things as deep or deep as you want, really. So that was everything we wanted to share tonight. So let me just stop the recording.